Hello everyone, I'm John, old man and nerd. There's that time of the year that is supposedly the most scary of all. I'm talking, of course, of Christmas. Last year I got the urge of doing something with this particular theme. This theme. Not having enough on my plate with a newborn kid at the time, I decided I would model an entire Christmas tree with decorations and balls and tinsel and all kinds of wonderful stuff. And so I did. I'm joking. Well, not completely. I did do it already, but that was 2 years ago. Turns out, when you do an asset, you should make sure that the asset is amazing looking, like a character of or a nice VFX, or either has something that tells a story, something that conveys your attention. I sadly had neither. I only had something that said, Christmas tree. My tree was nice. Not amazing though. It took some work, but as I look up on my creation, I thought to myself, it's a bit boring, no?
Boring!
I wasn't happy with that. The asset felt like it was lacking something. So I canned the project, put it in a box, and said bye-bye. I forgot about it and moved on. Until November 2024. At this time, I found myself checking on my archives of all unfinished projects for my annual Please Don't Break Now session of file saving. You should all
Just do it!
You'll thank me. And then I saw the folder. To publish Christmas 2022. All the memories came back to me. The renders were there and it could work. Then it hit me. The asset was fine, just fine. But it was lacking something to give it context. It was lacking a full scene. I looked at the calendar. I had around 30 days till Christmas. An idea came to life in my head. I will complete a Christmas scene on time for this year. Or last year. I could do it. Could I? I thought I had 3 weeks or so to do the Christmas scene. Seems like a lot of time, but I had to work, be with my wife and kids, and attend all matters that an old man has to do. Like, pay the bills, yell at kids, complain about the economy.
Who's laughing now?
I'm not that old. That didn't leave many hours to work per day. I could scrap 2 hours. Maybe 3 if I was lucky. On top of that, I was leaving on holidays on the 20th, so all the heavy 3D stuff and render had to happen before that date.
Oh, I'm doomed.
No matter, I thought, for I only need for a good plan. And I thought I had one.
I have part of a plan. What percentage? I don't know, 12%.
Step 1. Lay out the scene. As a photographer and lighter, this should be kind of easy for me. I mean, you only have to make a composition for a render that is well balanced, that is interesting looking, that it will convey the theme and the asset that I wanted to express interest in, so yeah. No, it's easy stuff, really.
Not buying it.
Step 2. Get all the extra assets for the scene. No time for modeling myself, so I had to manage finding good assets online. This meant spending money, but it could not be avoided otherwise.
Why, God? Why?
Step 3. Shading. I have been around long enough to know that the prepared assets that just will work in your scene and software just don't exist. So I will have to do most of the shading myself. This would be time consuming, but I'll still save time compared to modeling, texturing, and shading myself.
Takes a lot of work.
Step 4. Lighting and render. This is my superpower. Basically due to it being my day job. So I wasn't super scared about it. But rendering a scene without much optimization, because it's not going to have much optimization, and on high quality, takes a lot of time for the machine. More than several Disney movies together, which is what me and my daughter do while we wait for renders. She's working as well, she just isn't aware of it yet.
Cute.
Step 6. Post-production. In quick works, making the render look nice and cool. However, I needed at least a day for this, and it was the most important process to make the contrast, color, and fancy magic stuff pop in my scene.
That is cinema.
Sounds like a solid plan, no? I thought so. So, without any delay, I started a journey that would bring me pain and Christmas vibes.
She is magnificent.
Vindication!
First off, I had to define what scene to do. I decided on my preferred Christmas visual, a Christmas living room with present. This is a cliché, and pretty much borderline on a still life type of render, just without the fruit. But it evoked me of my youth and of the Christmas presents in the tree, going down the stairs and finding it there, hopefully without falling in the process. Besides, it would work great as a Christmas postcard, and it was reasonable with my schedule. And I get to put an execution on it. I decided to proceed using Maya and Arnold. I know it's not Blender, but I have a good reason for not using Blender. It's just I don't know Blender.
Heresy!
Maya is cool too.
Not cool, man! Not cool!
Finding cool assets was surprisingly tricky. I looked into the typical sites like TurboSquid, Sketchfab, and CD Trader. I ended up going with something that I found on CD Trader. The Black Friday discounts were still on, so yeah, I was happy about that.
Give us some money! We want a gift, but only if it's money!
But I had to buy some different packs, because none of them had all I wanted. I took this one for the room, this one for the fireplace, these ones I grabbed for the presents, and this one I grabbed for the magnificent couch. I love this couch. It's really cool. With those first packs, I did just the basic and very rough layout of the scene. Just setting up the bases so I could start playing with the camera and its overall layout. I imagine some of you will think, "How, Johnny boy? You could have modeled all of those yourself, and it would be for free." And you would be absolutely right. However, this is only true if you're paid with your time.
What?
You see, you exchange time for money, but for your own stuff, it's the same thing. The most important thing with 3D projects, particularly with the personal ones, is to finish them. Of course, we all want quality, but listen to me here. You are better off finishing a project and learning from it than working on it forever until it's perfect and you feel fantastic about it, which will never happen because you can't. You will always think of something else. So once you accept this, you will focus on what's important to make it complete. In my case, that meant buy the freaking assets. So with my newly bought assets and textures, on I went to do some quality shading. Oh boy. Shading, very quickly, for those of you who don't know, is the making of the materials for the render engine of choice. In other words, just make it look pretty in the screen. It's like grabbing a nice piece of clay sculpture and then splattering something on top of it. To make it look nice, of course. And that's when hell came to my life and stayed for several days. If you are a freelancer, you know this to be true. Making assets work together is the worst. It can be poor geometry. It can be bad textures. In this case, it was due to all of the above, plus the assets not being in the same format, software, or render engine. It's like picking pieces of a puzzle and making them work together. Only you pick the pieces from different boxes and they don't fit, so you have to glue them together to work, but you're gluing them with your shovel.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back together in hell!
During this process, I had to manually set up all of the assets to make them work in Maya. And let me tell you something about Maya. This thing loves to crash. Loves to crash more than your drunk friend after a party. This meant that I had to do a ton of work to make everything work. Lost some of that work, then had to redo it again, then I lost some of it again due to the crashes, and this leads into a loop of agony that, marks your soul forever. Why didn't I set up the autosave? Like, Maya has an autosave. Adding to this, I was refining the layout basically on the go, so as soon as I had the assets done, I tried to fit them in the scene. This proved to be a stupid decision, as I lost that job with crashes as well, but also cause it made me tunnel vision and overcrowd the scene. How many gifts is a normal amount of gifts? Hell if I know, but I sure packed enough for, I don't know, an entire country. Then I decided that I needed Christmas plants and some logs in the chimney because it was too empty. So I went back on to see Trader Card and I bought some more assets. More shading work to do. More crashes. After a couple of days, which were more than a couple, I was just done. I finished shading and all the assets were ready. I had taken way longer than I hoped, but I have finally had all the assets working as intended. Looking quite cool and not crashing, which is, kind of good. Needless to say that it was not optimized like I thought at all, and the file was enormous. Not unlike your mom, but it was done, and it was working, so it was time to start bringing some life into it.
Life never gave us lemons! We invented them all by ourselves!
The secret to a good lighting is a good reference. You see, your brain lies to you all the time.
Lies! Lies and slander!
What works as an image in your head doesn't translate to reality necessarily. Most of the time, just doesn't. This makes in all art of all kinds to have a good reference vital for you to get your goal well and faithfully. But luckily, we live in the future. There's tons of great websites to get good references. If you know how to describe it, of course, like ArtStation or Shockter. Plus, we live in the age of AI, or, before the AI kills us all, which allows us to get the reference images with the speed of light if we want them. All the references are the necessary tools that we need to move forward for our scene. My references of choice at the start were these ones that I found in Google, but I created AI images to have some images with all the elements that I wanted. A couch, a chimney, a window, the Christmas tree, most importantly, the couch. They helped me visualize the scene better and have a bit of a clearer idea of what the layout should be. As it usually happens, I started to see some things that worked, some others that didn't. These plants didn't reach the bottom of the glass base. This wall looked horrible with its brick textures. And I had to think what to do with the window. Where are we? Space? Remember when I told you that your brain lies to you? You should. It just happened minutes ago. Oftentimes, when we progress along a shot, we see the parts where it needs some extra work. These are the lies. These are the parts you need to correct because they were blanks in your brain. What at work usually we call quality assurance. Because, it's not quality if it's not working. These issues and some more happened along the way. But for all the issues, we just figure out the solution and we just move on. For the plants, I only had to stretch the geometry a tiny bit so it would reach the end of the glass, so it wouldn't look like a weird floaty alien plant. For the wall, after some experimenting and hard work with the textures, I threw it in the bin. Sometimes it's better to just redo stuff from zero. And these textures just weren't working for me. Luckily, a quick trick to Substance Painter and its assets library fixed the issue. It looked much nicer now. Lastly, the exterior. In CGI, we usually add a background income either from render or from an image that someone has painted. However, I wanted to do something that was fast, that would work, and I could see on render. So I went on the easy way. I just put a geometry plane and I splatted an AI image of a snowy exterior. It worked pretty well if you ask me. I also had to reduce some textures like the carpet and the picture from scratch. I won't bore you with more details of stuff I did. These socks sucked, so I went to see a trader again and I bought better socks. Added an image of my family in this little portrait because I wanted to add a tiny, nice detail. I polished the material of the crystal because it was awful. I added lights to the Christmas tree, all million of them. I went back to the socks and added letters to them because it's stupid to have socks that if you don't know which one says yours. I modified the colors of the gifts and pillows so that they would match nicer. In the end, I ended up with a scene that I was happy with. Now, I only had to render it out. I even had a couple of days before the 20th. It was very tight, but things were looking up. Seems like I was going on the right way.
The not-so-hidden message being, of course, that if you screw up today, I'm gonna hit you hard, I'm gonna hit you fast.
All that can go wrong will go wrong. This is a pretty cynical and honestly kind of a bad attitude to live life. However, it proved to be true in this case.
I don't know why. Ask God.
As said, the scene wasn't optimized, thus it would need a lot of time to render to avoid noise and other render artifacts. It was going to take long, but I had 2 full days. So, yeah, I was on a roll, I was gonna be fine. Everything was gonna be fine, no? I set it up and left it rendering overnight. I woke up the next day to this. An image with a watermark. I am using an educational license of Maya. Why? Because she's cheap. You can find keys in G2A for almost nothing. However, I did not remember that it doesn't support batch rendering. A full day lost, gone and burned, and nothing to show for it. I had only 1 day left. I didn't know what to do. All hope was lost.
Abandon all hope, he who enters there. All right. right, we get it.
But wait a second. The Maya render view does not have a watermark. Can I save an image with the format I want? Okay, yes I can. With utilities and more importantly without a watermark, the early testing seemed to show that, so that meant that I had to leave the local render running all night again. This seemed like a nice option, so I hit render and I waited. Thank freaking God it worked! I had the image file, all was good in life again. I just needed to edit it and then I'd be done. A small problem though. That was the last day, it was the 20th. I was leaving that very morning. I still had to pack and I had several hours of driving ahead of me.
What the hell does that mean?
After all, I was late. I didn't have enough time to edit. So, yeah, I have failed.
That's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Screw that! I've gone too far. I've worked so much. With this freaking image will be ready for Christmas. Come on.
That's the attitude.
I couldn't edit it nuke though, because I didn't have it in anything but my work machine. But, as you have it, my wife has a laptop. With Photoshop. I guess that can be used.
Disgusting.
So I packed like a madman and 10 minutes and off I went with my holidays. Working on a laptop is not my preference. I'm more of a sophisticated user. Add to that the lack of a desk in the hotel and a room shared with my wife and 2 small kids. Well, yeah, it's not exactly your dream work setup, is it? And, as you might have guessed, I'm not a super fan of Photoshop.
Disgusting.
I don't have anything against it, it's just that I've used Nuke so much more. And notes are cooler to work with. I don't know what to tell you, it is what it is. Thankfully, all my years editing photos and shots were not for nothing. I knew what I wanted to do with the image. So for the following nights I worked the hours I could, without much light, not to wake up anyone or anything, to give the scene a bit more of pizzazz. And then, after a lot of time, Christmas Day came by.
I can kiss you! Yuck! Yuck!
I won't lie. Or I will, you don't know. This project took more money, more time, and more willpower than I had hoped for. It had not been easy, and I knew I could have done more in some departments.
But I didn't.
Yeah, there was no time. And remember, finished is better than perfect. Christmas was here. So, without any more delay, have a look at the final result. Thank you all for watching, I really hope you enjoyed this. I complain a lot, like, you know, I'm an old man, but I certainly had a lot of fun doing this and editing this video. I find myself wanting to share more about my projects lately, so I hope I can keep working on these videos, whenever I can, and whenever I finish a project. It will not be soon, because I edit, like I think, slowly. Let me know if you liked it, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya!